Hello everybody and welcome back to Master Topic. I am your teacher Karl, here to guide you through everything Topic 1 and now Topic 2. All right, today I'm here to give you a little bit of know-how for those of you who are finished with Topic 1 and you got your Level 2 and all that, but now you want to go further with your Korean studies, right? You're going to study for Topic 2. Maybe you want to go for your school, or you want, just to test your own level of Korean, or you just need motivation to study, anything like that. And I am here to kind of give you a little bit of a push in the right direction to getting your level 6 on the Topic 2 test. All right, so first of all, we're going to have to look at what the test looks like. So the listening portion of this test, in Topic 1, we only had 30 questions. In Topic 2, that jumps all the way up to 50 questions, right? So that's 20 more questions, and that means the listening portion of the test is that much longer. And just like in Topic 1, it's going to be comprised mostly of conversations and monologues, and it's going to be talking about daily life. You'll have interviews, and you'll have news stuff. You'll also have maybe announcements, things like that, so announcements in school. And again, with the news as well, it's also going to be real news, because this is a little bit more of advanced stuff. And so you are going to need to know that much more vocabulary to understand everything that's going on. All right, and so how are you going to practice listening? I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, listening for any language that I've ever studied, it's always been the most difficult part for me. And one thing that has always really helped is dictation. Specifically with podcasts or news, I would also do it with YouTube videos as well. And so what I would do is I would play the podcast or the YouTube video or whatever it is, and I would either try to repeat what I was hearing, or I would try to write it down. And then that really kind of makes you focus a lot more on what they are saying. If you are doing the writing down option, I would suggest YouTube, especially because a lot of YouTubers will put subtitles on their videos. So you will be able to check what you are hearing as you write it, right? So maybe write the whole thing down and then go back and review that and see how much of it you got right. And then that way you can also check your spelling and your deosugi, right? Your spacing as well, because deosugi in Korean is something that is also very hard, but we'll get back to that in the writing portion of the test, right? And you can also watch a lot of different K-contents, right? Like I said, YouTube, there's a lot of really fun stuff on YouTube right now. You can watch dramas if you're into K-dramas, or different TV shows with the scripts on, right? If you go on to Netflix especially, they will usually have closed captions for their Korean dramas. If you aren't in Korea, then you can find certain ways to get Korean Netflix. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. And then that will give you the option to do that. So maybe you could, for example, watch one episode of a show with the subtitles on in either your own language or Korean. Let's say you start with your own language once, and then you do the Korean subtitles once, and then you watch it without any subtitles. And then you'll listen to the same episode 3 times, and each time you'll be having to test your understanding a little bit further, right? So just make it part of your daily life. If you listen to podcasts as you sleep, you can put on a Korean podcast to fall asleep to. So just kind of get a little bit used to that. And for this, I really do suggest podcasts, because with TV, it's been proven that if you have pictures along with it, you aren't going to be focusing as much on the audio as you could. And with podcasts, it's entirely audio. So you're not only focusing on the words, you're also focusing on the cadence, the rhythm, the specific pronunciation of different words. And so that is one way, especially at the upper level. Once you're getting out of the level 3 and 4 up to topic 5 and 6, then I would definitely suggest more podcasts than anything else. And then the reading portion of the test is also 50 questions, up from 40 in topic 1, right? And so here we're going to have some articles, we're going to have essays, and we're also going to have some fiction. They will actually take portions of novels or short stories or maybe even poetry in some cases, and they will put those into the test, and they will have questions on those. And so you are going to really need to know a lot of different topics, a lot of different vocabulary, and a lot of different areas if you want to get 100% on the test, right? And a lot of the different topics will be about the environment, it'll be about history, and it'll be about culture. And the same goes for listening as well, but especially in the reading portion, they are going to be talking a lot about what is affecting Korea right now. Like, for instance, maybe a popular K-drama or a movie like Parasite from a few years ago, or 이상한 변호사 우영우, like Squid Game, things like that are very popular in Korea, or maybe some specific societal issues going on in Korea right now. Like in Korea right now, especially in the Seoul, Incheon area, they're talking a lot about 전세 사기. So they're talking about people ripping off like people who are buying homes and renting homes, like landlords running off with the money and stuff like that. So a lot of issues like that are going to come up on the test. So make sure that you are at least somewhat aware of what is happening in Korean society, and then that will give you a lot more knowledge as to how to deal with it, right? And so how are you going to do that? Well, you can look at some blog posts. The Korean platform's Brunch, which is run by Kakao, for those of you who have heard of Kakao Talk. Brunch has a lot of different blogs, and I believe that they are a little bit more selective when it comes to their bloggers, right? Like you have to kind of apply to be a blogger there. And a lot of their blogs also get made into books. So the quality does tend to be pretty high on Brunch. And then you have Naver blog as well. And that's just there's so many different types of blogs. And blogging is still very, very popular in Korea. It also gets used a lot for like advertisements. And so if you're looking up for places to eat or places to go in Korea, there will be a lot of blogs about that. And Naver blog is the biggest blogging platform, all right? So that's one thing to look at. Webtoons are also a very good way to study as well. One thing I will warn you about Webtoons, sometimes they do have some typos and some mistakes, but that could also be a way for you to kind of improve your skills on catching errors in your own writing and other people's writings as well. And a good thing about Webtoon as well is a lot of them have been translated into English. I actually do some Webtoon translating myself. And so if you are familiar with the English Webtoons, you can kind of go and find the Korean Webtoon, the original Webtoon. And it really helps if you know the story already to kind of pick out individual words, all right? And so you can find Naver, Kakao, Lezin, what else is there? Donut Peach. There are so many different Webtoon platforms right now, and they are all very accessible, so that is also another very good reading practice. And then I said there was going to be news, right? So online news, you'll find a lot of that. Yonhap News, Yonhap News is going to be the online Korean government news platform, right? And also I suggest for those of you who are in the intermediate and above, look at Unique. Unique is what it's called. And what it is it takes the news and it makes it a lot easier to understand. It's not quite in such a stiff kind of prose. They will use difficult words, like actual words, but then they'll also take the time to explain what these words mean, and they'll kind of give you some context as well. So it is really great for intermediate and above learners, and even I still go into Unique every day, and it's a lot easier to kind of understand what's happening in Korea. So it's just a really good kind of window into societal issues in Korea at the moment, okay? And then writing. This is something that is not on topic 1, but is also very important to go over. There are only 4 questions, but it does take that much time to do them, especially the last one. All right, so 51 and 52, those are going to be for grammar and vocab, and those are going to be pretty much for the level 3 and level 4 people students taking the test. And then question number 53 is going to be a graph interpretation, all right? And so you're going to get a graph, and you're going to have to basically explain what the graph is showing. And they give you a set 글자 amount, so a set number of characters that you can use, right? In English, we usually go by word amount. In Korean, they go by the amount of characters, the amount of syllables that you can use. So keep that in mind. And then question number 54, you're going to be writing an opinion, right? So you're going to be writing an entire essay, really. It's going to be from 600 to 700 characters, and they're going to give you a topic. And that topic is also going to be usually something related to a current societal issue. And so this will also be another reason that you're going to want to keep up with the news, because there's a good chance that that's what's going to be on the test. And for this one, you're really just going to need to study vocab and grammar. And even if you don't buy a book necessarily to study for the listening and reading portions of the test, you need to buy a book to study for this, because there are certain words that you have to use, especially with the graph. There are certain expressions that you have to use, otherwise you're not going to get any points. I personally use the Hot Topic book when I was studying for my most recent topic test recently. But if you do have an opportunity to go to an 어학당 in Korea, that is also a really good way, because a lot of the writing that they do there is preparing for this test. And so that's where you're going to be able to learn all those expressions. And kind of related to that is you also get a lot of feedback. So from a topic expert, preferably, but if you don't have a topic expert, you can just write something and maybe ask your Korean friend how to do it. And another thing about this is, especially in that last essay, the 600 to 700 character essay, you're going to need to use difficult words, right? Even if you use them incorrectly, it would be better to use a difficult word than to use an easy word and be correct. Like, for example, 학교에 갔습니다, 학교에 갔다. That, like going to school, it would be better to say 등교했다, right? So just use those more difficult words, even if they're wrong. Like, if you mix up 강제하다 to force somebody to do something versus 강요하다, which would be to emphasize something, it would be better to mix those up than to use 뭐 중요하게 만들다 or something like that, right? It's better to use difficult words and expressions, even if they're wrong, than it is to use easy words and get everything correct, all right? I cannot emphasize that enough. That is the best way to get points on the topic writing test. Use difficult words. Use very high-level words, and you will be able to find a lot of those words in course books from 어학당s and just from various sources online and from looking at previous tests as well. All right, and that will be it. The gap between topic 1 and topic 2 is so great that I know it can be kind of daunting for those of you going into it. And another thing about the topic 2 test is that since it does cover such a wide range of levels, you're going from beginning, intermediate to high advanced, it can be kind of difficult for everybody, because the high advanced people, the questions at the beginning that are designed for the level 3 people, they're so boring that you might actually start to kind of second guess yourself, like, wait, can it really be this easy? And then for the level 3 people, the further you get into the test, the questions just get so difficult that you shouldn't need to, like, you're not expected to be able to answer them, but you have to try to solve them anyway. So that part can also be a little bit difficult, but if you can overcome it, I'm sure you'll all be able to get your topic level 6 within a few years at the earliest. I think it took me 4 or 5 years before, well, no, 3 years actually. It took me 3 years to get my TOPIK level 6, and that was after taking almost a year of classes in an 어학당. So it will take time, but if you just stay dedicated and study at least a little bit every day, then you will be able to get there eventually. And just make it fun, right? Learning Korean can be such a fun and rewarding experience. Just don't pressure yourself to the point that it's not fun anymore, okay? I just want you all to keep it fun for me, and you will all be able to speak Korean like a native in no time, all right? All right, so good luck on all of your studies, and I will hopefully see you again, all right? Goodbye.
당신을 위한 한국어 마스터 토픽